Obviously, since they're not going to be playing against any fears, the Korean team of Button Bashers has their alliance characters set up.
So a comp that Czech 6 made to beat RMP, facing against the RMP of Button Bashers that pretty much everyone can agree that they are on a completely different level than most other RMPs.
Yeah, and so let's talk about this particular matchup. You know, they have a couple different options of who they can train, actually, and that's why Beastcleave is so successful right now. I mean, they can train down number 1 if they want to. They can go hard on Orange Marmalade.
All right, gates about to open. Game 1, Ruins of Lordaeron, following here and out of the gates. And again, one of the most patient rogues we've seen, but he's going to go ahead and get things started. And we do have a sap onto Toes, so already a great opener. And now Flex caught into a poly and unable the opener. And already here comes that damage. Now Flex caught into a kidney. Will trinket immediately and get out of there. But number 1 has pain suppression already in under 10K. And now look at a blind onto Flex as he has already trinketed. And they're going to swap over to Twix. So Button Bashers looking very good so far. We have a bop and deterrence used at the same time. He's going to come out of that. And now here's the swap over to Orange Marmalade with an HOJ on number 1.
Flex is down to half right now in a kidney shot. They've already used Bop, so Flex has to live through this himself. He has Shamanistic Rage up. Toe's doing a great job of keeping him topped off. Twix is polyed right now out of that.
A look at here and dropping down to 8,000 HP as Flex connects, and now he will have freedom. Now he's going to kite back out, turn over, and look at Orange Marmalade trying to get some control of this game. Wow, a gouge onto Flex so he could get the poly off onto him. Now Toes is going to bubble and try to keep Twix up through this damage, but look at Orange Marmalade completely out of mana. He's going to have to go and get out of there and try to get an evocate. He does have mana gem, it looks like, and now he's going to try to take control of this game.
Twix doing a great job of trying to kite away from here, and we have a sack up onto Twix. But Orange Marmalade, Viper Stung, aim shot on him, lots of debuffs, trying to evocate, trying to bring some mana back, which he did to about half. He did get wind shock to stop the very end of it. Toes currently, in a freeze right now. They're going to switch on to Toes. You can hear the Koreans yelling. His other was down, his trinket was down. Orange Marmalade at half and sitting in a block.
Wow, so an RMP that can do it. This is going to be them, but look, number 1, maybe a cross kill. They do drop number 1. Twix and Flex versus Orange and Hiram, but Twix going to go down in the kidney. 1,000 HP, Flex versus both Hiram and Orange. I don't think this is going to work out for him.
Beginning to end, Button Bashers, period. It's amazing fast sap at the start. They identified that they needed to get onto Flex immediately. Once he trinketed, they swapped off. They identified that Toes had already bubbled. Once he was out of the bubble, they swapped onto him. I mean, we heard them screaming.
So what say you to RMPs that said this comp is unbeatable?
Guess you just have to be better.
And now a blind on the Flex. They're going to play this out safe. That's one thing that we do know about these Koreans. Orange is going to go off, drink some mana up so he can actually have something to DPS with. And look, Hiram's going to sap and eat right in Flex's face. They do not want to take any chances.
Yeah, Flex has no way of getting out of this sap quite yet. Sapped again. They're making sure Orange Marmalade can get to full. And this is what you really need to do in these tournament situations. You have to do everything possible to guarantee that win. You never know.
All right, and Flex, 600 HP. Gonna go down. That'll do it. Game 1 between Czech 6 and Button Bashers will go to the Koreans. Now take a quick look at the damage breakdown. Here in 94,000, of course, a little inflated as they are the winning team and made it until the end, but still 94,000 damage done by Hiram.
Okay, what do you think needs to change for this next round? Toes getting sapped is what set the momentum back, and this team, Czech 6, has to be aggressive beginning to end.
You know, usually we're used to seeing those Wolves come out and get Flex into combat and then, of course, chain it off the Toes, and that just wasn't the case in that game. And now you did see Flex try to chase into their starting area, but he knew right away he had to back out. Still, number 1 having to use his pain suppression at the very beginning just to mitigate damage, but as soon as, they just turned it around completely. You saw the cheap shot into kidney on the Flex. He trinkets, then they just throw CC onto him, and they swap off onto Twix when Bestial Wrath goes down.
All right, so the second round looks like it is going to be on Blade's Edge. We'll try to get you into that game in just a second. And there we go. That is the right teams.
And once again, when you look at Button Bashers, it's all about precision. every single game we've watched him play, they execute to the T, and it shows. RMP can beat this Beast Rush setup. And even on, we've seen teams beat it in the past, but it's been on this map actually, and mostly because of Warlocks being able to kite away from the pets, jump off the bridge, portal back up, and really using that advantage. So far, we haven't seen a team really do well against them on any other map except SKEU taking a win on the Grand.
Now, I wonder how Toes' playstyle is going to change on this map because of what happened last time.
Now, honestly, I'm going to be looking to hear a rogue that's been very patient so far in this tournament. In that last game, you saw a very early sprint out of him, so he could go get that sap on the Toes. Will he take an aggressive approach and go straight to their side and go for that sap? Because, honestly, it was key in that game.
Yeah, and herein, you know that a rogue of this level of play has been watching Check 6, and I wonder how many times he's watched their opener on Runes of Lordaeron, and knowing exactly that they're going to push way in, exactly where Toes is going to be. I mean, he sprinted directly at Toes.
Gates about to open. Game 2, Button Bashers check 6. And once again, look over to here, and he will mount up and just now he hit a very early sprint again, but he's going to drop off to the side. Does not want to get popped out. But already we have a sack onto Flex. There's the opener. It will be dispelled off. He will trinket the kidney immediately. So very same start, but Orange down to 1400 HP and dies without blocking. And there's that Beast Rest setup that we're used to seeing, and even mages of Orange's caliber can still die without blocking against this setup. So great execution by Button Bashers. First game and second game, just a little scary it looked like.
Yeah, I thought at first maybe his Frost Tree got locked out, but on the UI we'll have to watch it again at some point. But Flex managed to land a Wind Shock onto a Poly. She was showing that he had Icy Veins up right before that too, trying to get that quick volley off to help him, but...
So again, if you have purchased that HD stream, that's one of those key moments you can go back, rewind, and look through and see exactly what happened. And again, I'm pretty sure it was his arcane line that was locked, and he was just trying to get something off before blocking, and really you don't have that opportunity against this team.
Yeah, and I mean, damage done is... This team, like we said, beginning to end, they have to put pressure on from beginning to end. And we saw that sack, which is why they chose to go on a different target. They dispelled it down, but wow, that was a lot of damage very, very quickly.
So great job by Toes there, just starting out with sack. Even still, if Heron would have actually been able to make it across the bridge without getting popped and try to go for the sap on Toes, sack was already up. So you do see Check 6 responding to that first game. So after 2 games between these 2 undefeated teams here for Major League Gaming Anaheim, they're facing off and now tied up 1-1, and nobody takes any time. They queue right back up and Blades Edge once again.
There's no second guessing for strats or comps, gear, anything. Both these teams know that this is the match that they've been waiting for all weekend.
And now once again, going to be looking to here, and he did use an early sprint, but really unable to do anything with it. He knows that Twix is going to come across, throw up that flare, and honestly, if Heron gets popped on the middle of the bridge, he's just as good of a target as Orange or number 1 in that situation.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the strength. We've talked about Button Bashers in the past. We've seen them go back and forth and swap on different targets each round that they play. But Check 6 can do the same thing to them, and here we go. A lot of different, very different start right here.
And you see he did not get the cheap shot off, and he's going to be immediately stunned. And now he's still on to Flex, though, and there's that sacrifice being actually spell stolen by Orange Marmalade. But looks like the pressure's going to be on number 1 this time. They're going to change it up. Intimidation drops below 10,000. Flex connects. Pain suppression put up. And now you see an early blind onto Flex. It will be bopped off. Now they're going to swap over to Twix. There is no bop. And now you're going to see a deterrence. And now look at number 1, though, and down goes number 1. Pain suppression falls, and there's just nowhere for him to go. You see underneath that pillar, there's a frost trap down. Where can he go? He's going to be waddling through that the entire time, having Twix's pet and both wolves up Flex out the entire time.
They were trying to do everything they could. I mean, we saw the early blind, which was bopped off. That was a great job. They controlled Toes, or Orange Marmalade was controlling Toes down to the center, but it doesn't matter. Toes didn't even need to do that much healing.
And at the end of the game, you even saw the stage where Button Bashers was at. They saw the bop. breaking the blind on Flex, so they said, okay, let's go on Twix. Beast of Wrath is down. They have no Bop. Put pressure out. But then they look back, and their Priest #1 is just getting completely destroyed. So they have to try to come back and save him, but by that time, it was way too late.
All right, so an exciting series already. 2-1 to Check 6 so far.
And now we're going to see, we've seen Blade's Edge twice and Ruins of Lordaeron once. And we did have Button Bashers taking the win on Ruins of Lordaeron. And now it's going to be Blade's Edge a third time, so I do believe we will get the players to leave the arena and re-queue.
Yeah, on the left is going to be our tournament director, Ryan Moore, and he's going to be telling the players that they need to re-queue since we have played this map twice already.
Now, what are your thoughts about Ring of Valor for these two teams?
Hope they don't get it. No, I'm, that map right there is so much in favor of Check 6 that I honestly would rather see it play out on another map where it's, slightly more balanced for both teams.
Yeah, you talk about #1 having nowhere to run underneath the bridge of Blade's Edge. You put him on Ring of Valor, and it's going to be about the same story. But it looks like we're going to do Nagrand Arena for the fourth game. Check 6 can clinch the series here, but still Button Bashers with that impressive start.
All right, looks like it is going to be Nagrand if both teams have entered. And all right, so 2-1 coming down to the wire for Button Bashers. They did a great job that first round with the early sap onto Toes, and that's really why they won that map.
And now, honestly, with this not being Blade's Edge, I think Heron's going to go for that same approach and cut across very early with a sprint and try to go for the sap on the Toes, of course. But, I mean, you saw in that last game, unable to get an opener because whenever you pressure across the bridge in Blade's Edge, against a Hunter more specifically, you can guarantee a Flare's going to be down.
Yeah, and, he never got the cheap shot off. Kind of started out their momentum not too great. So we're going to follow Heron out again to see if he can change it up a bit from the last 2 rounds that they've lost. But Nagrand, could spell success for them.
This is actually the map that SKEU was able to take a win against Check 6. We'll see if Button Bashers can do the same. Final moments here. Button Bashers has to win this round or it's all over for them and will be their first loss of the tournament. And really, this is a good practice for them as both teams will advance in the top 4, but you want to come out with a confident win here and kind of put Check 6 on their heels.
All right, gates are open here and is going to try to look for his target, which, there is already a sack out, so he is going to go onto Twix already. Is going to get that cheap shot followed by a kidney shot off, but Shamanistic Rage already up from from Flex rather. He's going to switch to Twix for a second, but now he's going to be back on looking for his target of Flex, he can't stay on his target. That's not very good. Using a Vanish and opening back up onto Twix right now with a cheap shot, followed by a kidney shot. And Orange Marmalade taking a lot of damage and having to block already. He's going to sit in that block all the way through.
And also to note, Flex did not have to trinket that opener. He should still have his trinket available. And it looks like he's going to finally get back over to Orange. Hypothermia up. This is where things get bad. Pain suppression used on the Orange. And now a big blind. There's the trinket of Flex and a bop. So a little miscue by this team of Check 6. We just see an HOJ on the #1 and Orange dropping down to 10,000 HP. But Flex down to 1,000 HP. In comes a big heal down solo as he's trying to kite away. And Ghost Wolf finally getting a little bit of distance on Heron. But Orange makes it to the second block. Blocks at 6,000 HP. But another thing to note, Toes has bubbled and gone through most of his cooldowns. Now he's caught into a poly. Flex is in trouble. 6,000 HP and down goes Flex.
What a great job by Orange right there. He managed to spell steal the Freedom, which is one of the reasons why he was able to get away.
Wow, what a close game. Orange going through both blocks, but really the story is the pressure of Heron on Flex. And honestly, that trinket and bop at the same time might have cost this match.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. It's things like that, at this high level of play, it doesn't normally happen by teams like this. We do see Check 6 making... It seems that they make like one little mistake, each match, but it ends up costing them sometimes, where if a Hunter has bop on and it's here standing still, without clicking it off, stuff like that. And of course, on this, when they lost to SKEU, they didn't even have their Lusted Wolves. So it's little things like that they just need to clean up.
And honestly, even though it would have been spell stolen or dispelled the bop, it might have just given him those few seconds necessary to sit through that sheep and come out and actually get a heal and a flex and keep him up. But not the story. After 4 games, we have the 2 undefeated teams here in Anaheim tied up at 2-2, going to come down to the 5th and final game.
A very exciting match so far, and it seems like those big open maps are actually playing into the favor for the start of each round for Button Bashers.
And now, of course, both of these teams having the opportunity to talk things over, and it looks like Button Bashers will stand up and try to, loosen up a little bit. We do see them actually walking out of the event, so they're going to take their full time to talk this through and decide on exactly what they want to come through and do in this 5th game.
Of course, check 6 on your screen on the right, knowing exactly what to do. Their strat is normal. Every single time they play an RMP, they have a bunch of options. They can go on basically whoever they want, whoever's in line of sight, and man, they almost killed Orange Marmalade so many times.
And both of these teams being undefeated, so someone taking a loss here. But, of course, still both teams going to advance into the double elimination portion of the tournament. But right here, you can I assume that this is going to be one of the top matches in the double elim portion, because this could decide who gets first and who gets second.
So far, I do believe these two teams, no matter who wins it, are going to be the top 2 seeds. So they're going to end up facing each other, not in the first round of the double elimination, but either in the second or possibly the lower bracket if these 2 teams get beaten. But how these teams have been doing this weekend, I don't see that happening. I have a feeling that these 2 teams are going to meet each other in the upper bracket finals.
And in just a moment, I do believe we're going to have SKUS playing Complexity. We'll be unable to broadcast as we're going to be keeping this on the stream as Check 6 and Button Bashers wait for that 5th and final game. But coming up later today, we do have BHMS playing Button Bashers next. Check 6 versus EG. BHMS versus SKEU, which is going to be a Shadow Cleave Mirror. Remember those from the wild card tournament. Should be nice and long. And then our last game of round robin today, Fnatic versus Button Bashers. And now we're just kind of taking a look at the characters that are logged in and try to see if anyone's going to try to throw some tricks into this, as a lot of teams have been having trouble as far as Check 6 and Button Bashers go throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious why Orange Marmalade's Horde may just logged on right now. I think somebody has it logged on somewhere else, because he's the only one from his team on, and I don't see them playing Undead ever against these guys.
So right now, let's take a look at the scoreboards. We do have SKUS and Complexity playing, but SKUS 0-6, Complexity 2-4. Being 2-4 also is Team Fnatic. Above them, Complexity BHMS sitting at 3-2. Team EG 3-3, along with SKEU being 3-3. And now these 2 teams facing off. Check 6 being 5-0, Button Bashers 4-0.
So the 2 undefeated teams coming down, and this is what we like to see, coming down to this last moment. It's 2-2. Who knows what round it is? I personally hope it's not ROV.
Oh, would that just be a bad thing for Button Bashers to make it this far against this team?
They've been doing a great job with the open maps so far. In terms of raid at the beginning anyway. Negran definitely did help them out.
I think being that open, though, honestly, when that pillar goes down at the beginning, I don't think that Button Bashers will be able to make it off to one of the side ones without someone dying, or basically Pooks having to block about halfway through.
That's their timer right there. Their timer is the pillar dropping. So, if number 1 can make it in position where he's going to have be able to skirt out of LOS if he needs to, plus Orange Marmalade, if they choose to train him. But, what's Haren going to do if he has nowhere to go whatsoever?
As you can see on your screen, Button Bashers are sitting down at their computers, putting their headsets on. In just a moment, we'll get them queued up for the 5th and final game. Somebody has to come out of this with a loss. Will Beastcleave finally be stopped? And Button Bashers continue their complete domination, running a comp at a completely different level, even though this comp has been around the scene for quite a while.
Now that Complexity SKUS game has started that we're talking about. Their first round is on Blade's Edge. We'll get you guys updates soon about that. I do believe they're both playing their standard RMP mirrors. So these guys should be queuing up any second. They do have a minute or so left, I do believe, on the timer. And on your right is going to be Check 6. Of course, Flex is the person that you can see the most on the bottom right.
In the middle, that's going to be Toes, and down on the end is Twix. On the left side, you do have number 1, Orange Marmalade, and the new rogue down on the end, Huron. And got a chance to talk to him, and they're still trying to adjust to the time schedule as they slept all through the night last night, and they came in this morning into the event, and we're apologizing because we were actually unable to make it to those last 2 series last night, as these 2 teams were supposed to play at the end of the night last night. So a little fortunate act for Button Bashers, but let's go ahead and do this. It's going to be Grand Arena for the 5th and final game between Check 6 and Button Bashers. Now, in that last game, Button Bashers just able to make the distance, bring it back. It's going to be 2-2. It all comes down to this, and honestly, for Check 6, they cannot make a mistake here. One of those little mistakes, and it's going to be all over.
Yep, and last time these two met, it was Orange Marmalade played as well as possible. He sat through his block like he needed to. Spell stole the freedom to get away for a bit. And of course, last time Button Bashers did win on this map. So we've had 2 Blades Edge, a Ruins of Lordaeron, and a Nagrand so far, and we're going to round out the series with another Nagrand.
I can't imagine the amount of pressure that is on both of these teams' shoulders, because the entire world of Warcraft esports scene is watching this match, wanting to know,
the entire world of Warcraft.
Can an RMP beat this team? Gates have opened, Huron already out. Let's see what happens. And he's going to go ahead and sprint. He does have flex target, and there's that early sack once again. Cheap shot, followed by a gouge, and then a kidney shot. We just see a Bestial Wrath very early. And now Flex still not getting a chance to lust. And he's still not going to lust yet. It looks like he's going to hang on to it, but Orange Marmalade already with hypothermia up, so going to be a little bit of a bad position while he's caught inside that Nova. He's going to go ahead and hit Bloodless, and there's the freedom, and now he's just trying to get back over to Orange Marmalade, but Orange doing a great job of kiting around those pillars, and you see it, he's taking it all the way back to the starting area, and now a little bit of a swap for a moment, and now they see Orange Marmalade come out away from those pillars, and now they're going to try to get to it.
We had number 1 chase around Toes, trying to stay right in range, so when that fear did come up, Toes actually trinketed the fear, so they know that after the bubbly is going to be a great target to swap onto. No damage from either team coming out quite yet. This team of Check 6 is not looking like the same team in terms of damage.
And now Flex getting a little over there for a moment, but still no damage on the Orange as they're just controlling Flex. There's a kidney, this could be bad. Toes has bubble down below 10,000 HP. He's going to Ghost Wolf and kite out of there. But still, as this game's going on, number 1, plenty of mana. Toes getting very low. This game looking more and more in the favor of Button Bashers.
Yeah, when these games drag out like this, it's not good. However, Orange Marmalade taking a bunch of damage. Down to half right now. Big Hex and HOJ at the same time onto number 1. Orange Marmalade sitting through that block, hypothermia up. That is his second block. He needs a big heal right now. Number 1 is out of that Hex.
And now you see it, Toes is down to his last bit of mana, and they just need to make it over to Orange. He's trying to get to him, and now you see the Ghost Wolf. There's going to be some trouble if he makes it to him, and now you see it behind that pillar. He's going to try to get off that polymorph, but Flex is just going to kite around as he sees that Huron's is going to stick to the back of him.
We had a Dispel on that poly right there, so Twix is still going to be doing damage, but look, Orange Marmalade still sitting at basically full health. Toes using that Divine Illumination in there, trying to use every little bit of mana that he has, but he's down to 3 mana right now. They have to make something happen right now. Orange Marmalade down to 6,000 mana. Second Hex out onto number 1. Flex down to half with a kidney shot onto him. This is coming so close. Aim shot up onto Orange Marmalade. Freedom onto Flex. They're trying to make his way over to Orange Marmalade down to, he has no mana whatsoever.
And Flex connects. Orange Marmalade 2,700 HP. In comes a penance, but Flex himself low. Will we see 2 kills? Yes, we will. Flex and Orange go down. Twix has Bestial Wrath up though, and Huron's in trouble. 3,500 HP. While in comes a penance, as he's going to kite around the pillar. Twix is going to come head over there, but that was a bad move as Huron will get the cheap shot into a kidney. And now he needs heals quickly as you see a Toes come in, trying to pick him up, and a deterrence right after the kidney. This is going to come down the wire as number 1 is tapped. Toes still having a little bit of mana to work with.
Twix choosing to come back into line of sight of Toes. Toes did trinket that blind. Great job by Huron, but as his trinket was back up. Here and up onto Twix right now again, and there's the kidney shot.
And now you're going to need to see some big heals, but Toes caught in a fear. This might be it. Feign death after that. And can some heals come in? Wow, a giant holy shock to pick him up. But here I'm trying to kite around to him. And this is the game. You see 1,700 HP on Heron trying to bandage in his face, and down goes Heron. Twix scores the kill, and that's going to do it. Check 6 is going to win the 5th and final game and take the series.
We couldn't have asked for a more exciting final round of that match. It went back and forth so many times. Amazing play by Heron.
And now,
he is hands down the best rogue I've seen play at a tournament, period.
I'm telling you, every RMP that says you cannot beat Check 6, even though Button Bashers loses this series, this is a testament to that comp still can work.
Wow.
I think that's about all you can say is wow. It came down to the very end of that game.
Obviously, Flex did die. Flex and Orange did die first, but their damage numbers are so low. These two teams put out so much offensive pressure onto their target that, I mean, look at the damage.
You have to go back and watch this. Toes did get a drink off and has to come back in mounted to throw a heal onto Twix.
And the second he gets in, he gets blinded.
Incredible. Yeah, luckily having Trinket up, I thought Twix was dead whenever number 1 did get a fear on the Toes afterwards. So close, but that's the end of the series. Button Bashers receiving their first loss, but still plenty of round-robin action to come. Up next here live in Anaheim for the Major League Gaming 2